So one of the videos which we've been asked a lot by you guys is ACCA versus CMA and ACCA plus CMA. So in this video, we're going to talk about not only the differences in terms of eligibility, the academic structure, the scope and the fees of ACCA and CMA, but also the combination and whether you should pursue it or not. So before we jump into it, guys, first of all, if this is the first time you're visiting this channel, please ensure that you subscribe. If you know others who might need help and can actually benefit from this video, please share it with them. And as always, if there's anything which you otherwise want us to do, please leave it in the comments. If this is not your first time visiting this channel, then many of you all would know Zen. He had been our student for ACCA in the past. He, after that, got into a Grant Thornton along with his ACCA. I mean, he was working at GT along with studying his ACCA. Then he got into EY. And now he's full-time working with us at Zell. He's also lecturing at colleges like Jahan. And what, you're 22? 20. And that's the final part, that he just turned 23. So he's going to help me with this video. I'm just going to give you all a quick introduction on the two courses for some of you all who don't know it. ACCA is Global CA, right? It means you are becoming a chartered accountant across the world, including India, at least recognition-wise. CMA is more of what we call management accounting, or as some Indians are used to calling it, costing or cost accounting. We all know what a CA does, right? That's what an ACCA does at a global level. What does a CMA do? Management accountants, what they do is think about your favorite company, that brand that comes to mind, right? I always take the example of Google. In my previous videos also, you would have watched, what we said is that let's say you want to rise in Google in the field of accounts or finance. And you are just starting your career. You can start at entry level in Google and you can help Google, the people higher up, make decisions by collecting data that is useful for them. So if we talk about Google searches, right? You as a management accountant will collect all the data and the costing behind what it takes to get billions of searches a day. If you talk about Google Drive, right? How many people are paying for it? How much does it cost to have those servers? If you talk about Google Maps or Gmail, so on and so forth, and you collect information that will help management realize that this is profitable, this is not. And when you are collating such data and presenting it for decision making, you are what we call a management accountant. So that's what you become at a global level if you do CMA. That's the introduction part. Now I'll leave it to Zen to talk about the eligibility.
So the eligibility for ACCA is fairly simple. Despite what you see on the internet, if you have cleared grade 10, you are eligible to begin ACCA. For CMA, again, fairly simple. If you have cleared grade 12, you can start with CMA. However, once you complete CMA, you will only receive your certification once you've completed your graduation.
The next part, as always, is the academic structure. Now, with ACCA, as you can see, there are a total of 13 subjects, which is split into 3 levels: knowledge, skill, and professional. ACCA covers major topics which are covered essentially for a chartered accountant, which are accounts, audit, tax, costing, financial management, and a hint of business. CMA, on the other hand, as you'll see, it covers all subjects which are required for a management accountant, or in other words, for costing, people who are in the field of costing. It's all the subjects that will help you manage finances internal to the organization. And the CMA exam is split into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2.
ACCA as a course can generally be completed between 2 to 3 years. And talking about CMA can be completed within 6 months, but candidates on an average take between 9 to 12 months to complete both the parts.
And what about the overall passing rate?
So the global passing rate for ACCA is 45%, and the average passing rate for CMA for both the parts is about 48%. However, here at Zell, our passing rates are between 75 to 80% for both the courses.
Right. And what about the exam window? When can you give both the exams?
Talking about ACCA, for the first 4 papers or the knowledge level, exams can be given on an on-demand basis. And for the remaining skill and professional levels, exams are held on a quarterly basis. That is March, June, September, and December. Wherein talking about CMA, exams can be given in 3 windows: the Jan-Feb window, the May-June window, and the September-October window. So a candidate can give both the parts in either of the windows, and on any date he wishes to in these months.
And just explain what is on demand now.
an on-demand computer-based exam, which is for ACCA's knowledge level. That means today, if I want to book an exam, as long as I'm registered with the ACCA body and I want to give an exam tomorrow, all I simply need to do is book my exam. I can appear for the exam tomorrow if I wish to.
And you have to do it with licensed computer-based exam centers such as Zell. Next, paper pattern for ACCA versus CMA. Zen?
The ACCA paper pattern is fairly simple. So the knowledge level, it is completely MCQ based. As and when you progress to the skill level, it is 60% MCQs and 40% essay based questions. And when you progress to the professional level, it is close to 100% essay based questions. Coming to CMA, CMA is objectively divided into a 50-50% ratio, 50% being objectives and 50% being essay questions, and this applies to both the parts.
Right. So this took care of the academic aspect. Next, again, a huge question we get asked is which of these qualifications have more scope or which have a better opportunity. So first of all, we always tell everybody that the opportunity in all the professional qualifications are more or less equal. It really starts coming down to the individual and obviously the amount of effort you put in to get opportunities. One of the things I keep telling everybody about him is when he shifted from GT to EY, he had come to us and asked, that if he wants to shift, how should he take that plunge if he doesn't know anybody at EY or has no references. And we literally just came up with this agenda that you got to try 10x the amount of things that you thought you need to do in a short period of time, and just believe that by putting in so much effort it will happen. Just a little digressing the topic, but just quickly tell them in how much time, how did you get an opportunity in EY and what all did you do to get there?
So I had a conversation with Pratham on a Friday evening, and he told me a couple of things about boosting my network on LinkedIn, messaging people, giving it a shot, just basically cold calling but on LinkedIn. On Sunday I connected with a few people, so I specifically searched for HR managers or HR with relation to the Big Four that I was looking to go into. Sunday I connected with a few of them. Monday I saw one of them like a post of someone else on LinkedIn. I got that notification and it was a job opportunity. I applied for it. I got an interview. I got it. So the idea was it just took me 3 to 4 days or max up to a week to immediately apply what Pratham told me, and within a week I had those opportunities. It wasn't only that opportunity, but a lot more which I yet see on my feed. So ideally networking was the key, to actually land a job.
Yeah, and so the point of this particular digression was that when people are always asking which has more scope, what has more scope, understand that even if you complete these qualifications, don't expect, and whether it's any of these, CA, MBA or even IIT, IIM, don't expect people to come running with a offer in a platter. Work a little more towards it and you'll eventually land up getting it. So coming back to our topic at hand, the scope for ACCA. Again, you guys know that when it comes to India, ACCAs are hired in various profiles similar to CA, whether it is in the advisory position, so accounting advisory, which has IFRS, it could be risk advisory, mergers and acquisitions, valuations, statutory audit, internal audit, forensic audit, international taxation, and the list can go on. One of our faculty members is a CFO of a securities company in India, and financial securities company in India. So that's sort of the scope for ACCA. CMA, if you can share.
The CMA scope is fairly straightforward. Roles revolve around finance. So roles such as a cost accountant, a financial analyst, a financial risk manager, and many more in the field of finance. So basically doing your CMA will help you land a job in these roles.
Yeah, and the salary packages are all ranging from 5 to 8 lakhs. The kind of companies that hire go from the Big Four down to private companies which understand the value of the knowledge that these qualifications bring. So, and this is just India. If you look, because both these qualifications are global, you also have opportunities overseas, which again depend on where you're looking, how much experience you have, XYZ. But the point being that the scope for both are increasing tremendously, and now we've seen so many of our students and obviously our own faculties who are placed within India and abroad. So another very common question, especially from Indian parents, is how much do these courses cost? The investment that we make into them.
So for ACCA, the fees can be anywhere between 3.5 to 4 lakhs. However, if you have exemptions, this can be significantly lower.
Yeah, so we have videos, first of all, where we explain exemptions. So an example of the drastic reduction in fees for exempted students. we have a lot of CAs. CAs in Indian CAs who want to pursue ACCA, they get 9 or 13. So they have to only give 4 papers. Now, if they have to only give 4 papers, their cost becomes between 1.5 to 1.75 lakhs total to completing and earning an entire international qualification. So you can see the delta between somebody starting from zero and somebody getting exemption with respect to fees. Coming to CMA.
CMA is relatively cheaper. However, since CMA is a shorter course, can be completed within 1 year and only has 2 parts, CMA can cost anywhere between 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs. Coming back to both these courses, this price of these fees are inclusive of fees payable to the body as well as your training fees.
And I think we missed it in the beginning. The body for ACCA is called ACCA, whereas the body for CMA is called IMA, Institute of Management Accountants. The body fees to ACCA you pay in pounds. The body fees to IMA you pay in dollars. So I think we've covered majority of the points that people ask us. The last bit, should you do both together? Now, we would be of the opinion that the value of doing both is a little less because management accounting is a specialization. ACCA is more of a chartered accounting, a broader qualification. You can do both, right? But we would suggest you pick one and then based on your opportunities when you're working, if you realize that you have a chance to uplift your career by doing the other course, only then take it up. Don't pre-plan doing both because the overlap between the two is not as high. Like a lot of CMA gets covered in ACCA, though it's more in depth, and the amount of people who want chartered accountants who are specializing in costing, the market according to us is a little narrow. So it's not that you can't do it, you shouldn't do it. It's great if you do it, you'll have a specialized skill set. But in terms of opportunities coming to you because you've, like for example, ACCA plus CFA or CA plus CFA or CA plus any of these courses, you will get many more opportunities. ACCA plus CMA might have a little less. So that's our frank opinion if you should do both or not. And I think with that said, we've covered majority of the points. Once again, if we missed anything, please do let us know.